Kyle Lowry has broken his silence regarding the trade rumors taking him away from the Toronto Raptors, saying that he is not getting traded and not to trust the speculation that arose on the Bill Simmons podcast. So, what does this mean for Raptors fans, really? Let's get into it. Welcome, Raptors fans, to Amateur Hour Sports, the center of the Raptors content universe, where you have me talking about the Raptors and various content just like this. If you're wondering why I'm wearing a hat, you must not come to the streams. So if you don't know, we're in the process of raising money for the Canadian Cancer Society as well as Sick Kids Hospitals on the live streams on this channel. And when we hit our $750 US dollar tier of donations, I decided I would shave my head. Now we're already over $1,000 in with a goal of $3,000. So if you want to get involved with donations, the link is in the description to help us raise money for charity. 100% of the donations is going to charity. But again, Raptors content, let's get into the Kyle Lowry video. If you like what you see from today's video, make sure you hit that like button to help us reach new viewers and subscribe to Amateur Hour Sports for more content just like this. Let's get into our video. We're talking about Kyle Lowry addressing the trade rumors. And on the Bill Simmons podcast, I mean, what do you know? Some misinformation comes out in the Bill Simmons podcast, but they talked about how Kyle Lowry is talking about getting traded. He's telling people he is getting traded. He's just assuming he's getting traded. This fueled with the speculation around Kyle Lowry selling his Toronto mansion. So what can we really trust in this scenario? Well, I think that the best person to trust is the source. Kyle Lowry has come out on his Instagram saying basically, don't trust anything unless it comes from him, and don't go talking about him in the media if it isn't coming from him. Now, I'm talking about Kyle Lowry in the media with stuff not coming from him, but I'm not making any bold claims here. I'm just here merely speculating about the situation. So Kyle Lowry, I've talked about him many times over the last few weeks on this channel regarding, him selling his house, which is kind of old news at this point. I don't know why that's resurfaced as his big thing. I've talked about what it would mean for the Raptors to trade him, what it would mean to keep him. Now, I'm going to add my another 2 cents in here about Kyle Lowry after coming out explicitly talking about how he is not getting traded. I don't really think this changes anything. I think that Kyle Lowry is trying to put these rumors to bed. It looks bad on him. It definitely looks bad on Kyle Lowry if he's going around telling people he's going to get traded while he's currently still with a team. Still with a team who's under 500. Still with a team who is fighting to get themselves back in a better position that they should be in, that they all recognize they should be in a better position, but they're not at the moment. And they're working towards fixing that at the moment. So what good would it do to the team, chemistry, morale, if Kyle Lowry is going around telling people that he is getting traded? Now also consider this. Why would a professional athlete who is contractually obligated to play with a team that he very much respects, he's the greatest Raptor of all time, why would he be going around spreading information about a trade which could possibly hurt his value with the Raptors? There were a lot of moving things and a lot of variables regarding the situation that do not make sense. Does Kyle Lowry coming out on his Instagram story with these sort of comments completely take away any possibility of him getting traded? No, absolutely not. But he doesn't want people spreading the information in the media when he's currently still playing with the Toronto Raptors. Now, maybe it absolutely means that he's not getting traded and he's here to stay with the Toronto Raptors, but I doubt that. I seriously doubt that, Kyle Lowry saying this means that the Raptors are completely sold on keeping him with the team and fighting with him on the team. I believe that Kyle Lowry just wants to continue playing basketball, and whatever happens in the future with the Raptors, with any other organization, it happens. And Kyle Lowry doesn't want to be the person who is going around trying to force his way out of Toronto. I think at the end, Kyle Lowry is completely content to stay out the rest of the season with the Raptors, see what sort of contract options we have at the end of the season. And if he has to walk in free agency, he has to walk in free agency. But I think he's happy to stay. I think he's happy to get traded to the right destination, like a Philadelphia 76ers. So I think that that's just the main reason why Kyle Lowry is addressing these rumors in such a way. It's not very common, I don't think, for a pro athlete to come out themselves in social media and talk about these rumors like this. Usually you see it in a press conference, but clearly Kyle Lowry is completely fed up with these rumors. The fact that he has to go to social media to express his thoughts on the situation. Now, what would this mean for the Raptors? Kyle Lowry doing this again? It doesn't take away any sort of indication that a trade could happen. It's just kind of taking Kyle Lowry's fault out of the equation. If the Raptors want to trade Kyle Lowry, it's because the Raptors wanted to trade Kyle Lowry. It's not because Kyle Lowry was going around asking for a trade. It's not because Kyle Lowry asked the Raptors to trade him. It's really if the Raptors organization decides that that would be the best course of action for the future of the franchise. Now, whether it is the best course of action, I'll leave it up for debate. But if you want my opinion on the matter, Kyle Lowry going to a contender, bringing us in some prospects, bringing us in some young players, some picks, I don't think that's that bad of an idea because I think that Kyle Lowry is going to want a big contract at the end of the season, in the offseason. That's a contract that I don't think the Raptors can particularly afford. So trading him now to get some great assets for the future and sending him to a team, at that point we would probably be just, doing the best we can, but understanding we're not a contender. I wouldn't trade Kyle Lowry for a big because I just don't think a big would solve enough of the problems that we have this season. I think that the Raptors are really a max second round playoff exit team, so why not build up stuff for the future? I think in 3 years' time, if Kyle Lowry walks for free in free agency, we're really going to be kicking ourselves for not getting some picks and prospects back for him and losing him for nothing. Now, maybe the Raptors are sold on keeping him. I wouldn't really quite understand why. Again, I think it's time to build around the Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, and OG Anunoby core. But I really like Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry is really essential to this current Raptors team, but you have to understand the bigger picture. Again, think about in 3 years' time. If Kyle Lowry walks away for free in free agency and you didn't get anything in return, I don't think that's a bad idea. Ultimately, I'm happy to keep him. Ultimately, I'm happy to let him go. But again, for that reason, I'm happy to keep him. So if the right trade offer does not come in from another team to take Kyle Lowry away from us, then just leave it. If we don't get, let's say, Danny Green, Mike Scott, Tyrese Maxey, and Matisse Thybulle away from the Philadelphia 76ers, if we don't get that sort of return, then I'm completely fine to keep Kyle Lowry. If you don't want to give us that much, then the Raptors are just simply going to keep Kyle Lowry on their team. And that's the beauty of this situation. The Raptors are not handcuffed into giving away Kyle Lowry because the Raptors feel like they are going to make the playoffs with this current roster. And I think I can almost guarantee that this team is a playoff team. Is it a deep playoff team, or one that's going to go deep into the playoffs? No, I don't particularly think so. But the Raptors, with the defense they can display on any given day, can beat any team in the NBA. They've beaten the Brooklyn Nets already this season. They've beaten the Milwaukee Bucks twice, and they've beaten the Philadelphia 76ers, the teams that occupy the top 3 seeds in the Eastern Conference. So if the Raptors enter a 7-game series with any of those teams, they will not be the favorites, no, but maybe they could sneak something out in a 7-game series. That's why the Raptors feel comfortable keeping Kyle Lowry. That's how I think they are going to operate. Either you pay up and give us what we want for Kyle Lowry, or we are going to be completely comfortable keeping him on our roster, keeping him with us, and just seeing how far we can go with this current season. But I think that the Raptors, Masai Ujiri, still hasn't made a trade yet this season. I feel like something is brewing. I don't know why he hasn't made that little trade for a big. Maybe he wants to make a big trade before we can make those little ones to help pick up the pieces and make sure that we're positionally sound in every of the 5 slots in the starting lineup. But maybe he just hasn't made a decision yet. Trade deadline is slowly starting to approach. Masai Ujiri has to make a decision. Are we going to really be a buyer and make our team the best we can in a wide open Eastern Conference? Or are we going to be a seller in what has been a tumultuous season for the Toronto Raptors? And let's just cut our losses. Let's bring in some young players, some prospects, some picks to help us for the future, and just let's be the best we can be, but understand this just wasn't our year. With those 2 decisions in mind, Raptors fans are kind of torn here. Some people want to really go for it and think we can be like one of the contenders in the Eastern Conference, but I'm being a little bit more realistic and understanding that, stuff didn't work out last offseason. Losing Serge Ibaka for nothing really. Stuff just didn't quite work out. And it happens. Sometimes you gamble. The Raptors have been an organization that gambles. They trade away DeMar DeRozan, a franchise player, to bring in Kawhi Leonard on an expiring deal. That was a gamble that paid off. Now Masai Ujiri gambled on letting Serge Ibaka walk to bring in Giannis. and the gamble did not pay off. But if the Raptors, who are a small market team, want to really be that huge #1 threat for an NBA title, they have to make these sort of gambling moves to bring in the players to get us to that elite level, because we just simply don't have the market to bring in players on a consistent basis. We can't just mess up and then, like the Lakers, you mess up once, okay, we'll just go grab this player and we're still going to be a contender. That's how big market teams can operate. That is not how the Toronto Raptors can operate. So Masai Ujiri makes some risky moves from time to time, but at the end of the day, Masai Ujiri, full faith in the man. He has made some great decisions for the betterment of this franchise, and I am sure Masai Ujiri, as long as he signs that goddamn contract extension, will get us out of the current little bit of a mess that we are in. Again, some guys come out here and comment that maybe you're not a real Raptors fan if you don't think the Raptors can win an NBA championship or go far in the playoffs. Like, I'm just trying to be realistic. I'm not going to be biased. I'm going to speak exactly how I think this team is going to perform. And exactly how I think this team will perform is probably a first or second round exit. I cannot see them getting past the second round. If we have a first round matchup against the Milwaukee Bucks, I truthfully think the Raptors could win that in 7 games. We know how to defend Giannis. Will we be the favorites? No. Will Milwaukee probably win the series? Yes, but the Raptors can absolutely sneak out in a 7-game series. But in the second round, playing against like a Nets or a 76ers, I just think with our current crop of players, we would be outmatched, and that's just a reality. You're still a fan of a team. You're still a fan of a team. Even if you don't think that they're going to win a particular game, a particular series, you're still hopeful that they are going to achieve that, and there is no shame in doing that. Bottom line of the Kyle Lowry situation is, if the Raptors are going to trade Kyle Lowry, it's because the Raptors want to trade Kyle Lowry. It's not because Kyle Lowry wants to trade. It's not because Kyle Lowry is asking for the trade. And based on the social media post, he is making it very apparent that it will be the Raptors' decision if they want to trade him. Now, would I make the trade? I would strongly consider it if the right offer came in. But that's not what this is about. It's about the Raptors, whether or not they want to make this trade. And, do they want to bring in prospects? Do they want to bring in a good player? Do they want to go for it in a wide open Eastern Conference? Do they want to treat it as a transition year, be better next year? A lot of different variables, but we'll see what Masai Ujiri will conjure up in this trade. What do you guys make of this situation? Do you think the Raptors will keep Kyle Lowry? Do you think they will trade him? Let me know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. But that wraps up for me for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you're still here, please like the video if you like, and subscribe to Amateur Hour Sports for more content just like this. Remember, we do a ton of Raptors videos. We do a ton of Raptors-based live streams. We're going to do a Rebuild the Raptors 2K stream tonight, and tomorrow we have the watch along for the game against the Atlanta Hawks. And all of the donations during these live streams goes 100% to charity. That's why I am bald for this current video. We'll see how long it takes to grow back. But the next tier is a cooking stream, and the tier after that is getting dumped with snow. If you want to see me do some dumb stuff for the charity donation incentives, make sure you show up to the live streams while also getting some great Raptors content as well. But at the end of the day, I believe what I say. If you disagree, that is okay. We'll see you again next time for another video.